Here we go. Mic check. Nice. Salute to the chat. Almanai, sis, how you doing? Kings and Dreams. Cuzzo. Nice to see you. Tonight's a red light night. We're going to talk about some things that may upset folks. So, as always, for 2025, we're going to start off our shows with either a red light or green light show. Let y'all know ahead of time what to expect. May get a little edgy. May say some bad words. So hide your aunties. We don't want the aunties in the room. All right, family, without further ado. I hate that. I don't like using that no more. I ain't using that no more. Let's go. We're going to kick it off. I got an intro.
Concord, Flintlock, no one gives a damn. Hollow Life, VTuber, Nesmat, Grand Slam, Pube, Hair, Kim, Bel Air, make 'em queasy. Crowd strike, clog ya pipes, just that easy. Vandalize art, what a commie addiction. Woke, stoke, flames, white guilt, fan fiction. Lesbian, they, them, freeze, rock steady, bitch. Ubisoft, lube, Yosuke, hole ready, bitch. Stretch my hands to you, what to journos useless information more than an angry hallucination. How now brown pierced pronoun gay obese dyed hair inferior quality. Race swap pander gaslight tell lies exposed to griffin the land where the sun rise. Reach for the sky to beyond infinity with great power comes great responsibility. Stretch my hands to you. You need to profit, but you chose queer. When will the modern audience appear? Until the consultation stops, expect decline. This is slop.
Boys are boys from the beginning. If you were born a boy, you stay a boy. Girls are girls right from the start. If you were born a girl, you stay a girl and grow up to be a lady. Everybody's fancy, everybody's fine. Your body's fancy, and so is mine.
Yeah. Right, Sakafet. What's up, everybody? Salutations and salute to all my beautiful people from all corners of the world. How y'all doing this evening or today, depending on where you're at? I want to say welcome to the show. Here at Culture Invasion, it's all about culture, knowledge, and entertainment. And I want to start off with a very, very, very special applause and thank you to my brother, Kyle. All right, so go subscribe to Kyle. We borrowed some of his content for that intro. Excuse me. I do believe y'all enjoyed yourselves. That was one that he cooked up not too long ago. Let's see here. It was a remix that he did. It's like an hour of like intros that he does. He does his own little tunes at the intros to his shows, but he is anti-woke. He is not on the path that so many are falling to, these sheep out here in the world. And that's what we're going to be talking about tonight, y'all. We're going to be looking at DEI. We're going to be looking at censorship, and we're going to be looking at this new Jaguar commercial. And this is no hate against the models that are in that commercial. This is strictly talking about the tactics that that company used and the legacy that has been flushed down the drain. So we are going to be examining all of those, and then we're going to round it all off. I'm going to close out the show with a classic Jaguar commercial, one from my past, one from my youth that I used to hold dear in my mind. And when I went back and kind of went through history and looked back at some of the old commercials and some of the old history of Jaguar itself, right? They have a great history. As I went back and kind of looked at things and reflected on my childhood and seeing my very first Jag up in up in the heights, you always knew that those were what the rich folks were driving. It brought back some of the most fond memories of my beginnings working on cars and discovering cars and just discovering the entire automotive industry as a young kid. So that's what we're going to round the show off with. A little throwback commercial there, show you guys where Jaguar came from in their roots. So to start off with, again, applause out here for everybody. We got Kings and Dreams, Almanize. Thank y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining me this evening. If you are in the clouds and you are new, I highly suggest that you please hit the like button, subscribe, ring the bell. That's right next to the subscribe button there. That'll let you know when I'm going live again, let you know what's going on out here. All right, give me 1 second. Let's go. So first up, all right, we're going to spend some time with a few different content creators this evening. First up, we got, let's see. We got some stuff from Asmongold. Asmon, he's not everybody's cup of tea, but I think the dude is funny. He's relevant as far as the millennials are concerned because he is the incel millennial king. He also has, the dude's got good perspective, all right? Good perspective on things. Don't have to agree with everything he says. Moving on. Then we've got some clips from, actually we got a piece to react from The Critical Gamer. That is The Critical Drinker, if you are familiar with his content. We got Out of Japan. I do have a tendency, my algorithm does have a tendency to be global, all right? I do highly encourage more of you do that. So I've got some content in and around Asia. A lot of that came into my algorithm traveling to the Caribbean. It's kind of odd. You wouldn't think that, but let's see what else. Arc Driver, he's a mainstay in my algorithm on the automotive side. Many of you may know Mighty Car Mods. There's Arc Driver. There's a ton of car content creators out here, automotive content creators out here on YouTube. And that's it. That's what I got for you tonight. So first up, Asmon. He's going to be reacting to a game that's currently out called Dragon Age: The Veilguard. If you are familiar with the Dragon Age series, it's a fairly good series. There are some fans out there. I'm not a fan of Dragon Age. I'm a fan of other IP that the studio makes. I like the Mass Effect series. So when it comes to fantasy, I'm more latched on to the Bethesda side of things and Skyrim, that side of it. Then like The Witcher, right? Y'all know I'm messing around with Witcher 3 again, revisiting that. So anyway, we're going to explore this one. We're going to start off lighthearted here. We're going to explore a random clip that Asmon pulled together in his experience in this game. And what I want to point out here this evening when we start talking about the gaming side of things is, well, most people who have kind of put that veil up of being an adult consider gaming to be something that children participate in. Fair enough. We'll leave it at that. All right. We'll leave it at that. We'll approach it from that angle this evening. All right. We're going to approach it from that angle this evening. Kids play games. So let's see what the kids are exposed to these days. Let's see what your children are exposed to.
Gender identity options. Oh my, uh-oh, here we go. Take a long, hard look in it, kid. It'll always show the face of a hero who can get it done. Establishes transgender identity and unlocks new dialogue options in future conversations. I love who I am. It feels good to see the real me. Should I do it? I mean, every single option makes me transgender. There's no option not to be transgender. It says makes me trans. This one does, and this one. I don't know why I have to be trans, guys. I can't. Guys. I don't know what to do. Forced transgender. This is what Donald Trump was.
That dialogue options basically pigeonhole you. If you go down this path, they basically pigeonhole you into discovering yourself. Knots, what's up, my dude? Knots, the best gamer. How you doing this evening, brother? I seen you streaming earlier. I dropped in, dropped out, but dropped back in, then I dropped out again, grabbed some dinner. So it's good to see you, bro. It's good to see you.
Talking about. I'm getting there. It feels good to see the real me.
It took a while for me to figure out why the face staring back from the mirror felt wrong. But once I was able to be honest with myself, it was a relief to figure out I was trans. And it's worth it to look in the mirror today and see the man I am staring back.
Uh-oh.
Can I do it again?
Can you go back? Can you undo it? Uh-oh.
Oh, well.
What is he wearing, y'all?
All right.
What is he wearing? What was he wearing at the end, though? What? Gotta clip that. Somebody clip that. What happened to Asmund, y'all? Asmund, bro. Okay. So these are options. Yeah, this is an option set up from Dragon Age. And I mean, I started playing Inquisition and I thought Inquisition was really good, but I couldn't get into the action. Something about the way they lay out the action just I don't know. It didn't do it for me. I think I kind of figured that game should have been more just straight action RPG instead of role, like selection based. I don't know. It just didn't. I don't know. Something about the control scheme just didn't resonate. We'll leave it at that. But this one, I had no interest. Pardon me. Every new generation of game, I have an interest in. I want to check it out, see what's going on. So I wanted to check it out, see what was going on with it. But the first thing I noticed was that the first set of commercials that dropped for Dragon Age Veilguard, the commercials looked like Fortnite. That took away immersion from me. I like the gritty, doesn't have to be photorealistic, but I like the gritty, more Skyrim, more, this kind of universe facial based artistic style, not the cartoony artistic style. So when I first saw that, I immediately was turned off. Then I was like, okay, well, maybe they're lightening the way, or it's like doing like a cell shading kind of artistic style. That's fair. Maybe there's still going to be like grit to it. It's going to still have like, save the world, chop off bad guys' heads. Let's get this handled. Punch people in the face in the saloon, in the bars, taverns, whatever, and carry on with our adventures. But it didn't. And more reveals. And over the past 2 months, the amount of media that I've taken in and content, that I've consumed regarding Dragon Age, man, it's been all disappointing. They've been really, really, really heavy-handed here. Just fast forward a little bit. And we're going to get into more of it here. Really, really, really heavy-handed on the identity politics, the wokeness. That's why I started off this episode with Kyle and one of his rhymes, because the wokeness is ridiculous. And like I said, hey, games are for kids, right? These people want to be smart asses. These life coach dudes, these, whoever. Games are for children. Fine, fucker. Let's see what your babies are playing. Let's see how your kids are getting groomed. Okay? All right. It's all for kids. The new Dragon Age. let's go look at what that Park Place wrote up on the Dragon Age back in October. Where first thing we're going to start off with are tattoos, scars, and paint. Okay, the kind of war paint that you put on your face, the kind of scars you get from battle. Tattoos, we know what those are. Well, how about this very last line here on this page? How about that? How about that right there? What's that say? Top surgery scars. Mommy and daddy. All right. All you big dudes, yeah, life coach. Yeah, fuck them video games. All right, motherfucker. 99% of y'all out here just whore makers and baby mama makers anyway, calling it what it is. So your little bastards, your little gremlins are running around here learning about top scars. That's right. The kids. Mind you, no one knows anything about that shit until they get to the point in life where they're introduced to it because of whatever mental issue they got and they want to explore that shit, right? But what we've done is we've allowed these game production companies to include this bullshit in the character creation from your imagination. So your children can now imagine that their character has cut its tits off. Your daughter can pretend that she's cut her tits off. That's what your kids are playing. Let's continue. So the embargo was lifted mid to late October. So people start exposing all of the character creation. Check out my algorithm right here in this drop right here. Look at this YouTube drop. I watched this earlier. I got CDT Beats. I got Knott's the Best Gamer. I got Hypno. I got Messy with Sean. All my people, shout out, y'all. Shout out. Hell yeah. That's what's up. All right, y'all. So let's continue. Okay. Earlier this month, a playtester broke his NDA and informed YouTuber Nuri that the game was ultra woke and included the Quinari companion Tosh, informing the player character that she is non-binary. So it's already baked into the game. He said that the character says, "I'm a non-binary person." How the hell, in a fantasy game, in Thetis, a fantasy game in a fantasy world, have we now injected the word non-binary? She said that I don't like men and I don't like women. I identify myself as non-binary, just like that. It's baked into our culture. And I'm calling it like it is. Look, you can be gay, you can be a lesbian, you can fuck whoever you want to have sex with, do whatever you want to do. Keep that shit the fuck out of business. We don't need to know who you fuck at work. Sit your ass down and get your job done. You can do whatever you want, 100%. But when you start introducing your perverse mental health issues on our children, that's where I can no longer fuck with you or fuck with society that supports you. Welcome to Culture Invasion. If you're new over here, I do thank you very much again for liking and subscribing. I'm just saying it like it is. All right. Neri shared a screenshot of dialogue from the game that does indeed prove that this dialogue exists. Tosh says at one point during the game, non-binary, I just said, and I'm going to use they instead of she from now on. She also shared another screenshot from the game that reveals BioWare included gender identity options in its dialogue choice wheel. Neri commented, "For anyone still on the fence about what I mean when I say the game is woke, and it would let you know at every single turn, having diverse characters is not being woke." I gave a perfect example of a game that was diverse as hell. I played through it. I highly encourage you to go back and watch it. The Detroit Become Human series was diverse as hell. And that was a game from over 10 years ago. We didn't need all this bullshit. And we didn't need to know who our characters were fucking. Granted, there is some sexual stuff that goes on in the Dragon Age series, the BioWare schema of games. Mass Effect the same way. You can romance. But goddamn, this is getting wild, y'all. This is getting real wild. She shared another screenshot of dialogue choice wheel that allows players to establish a transgender identity and unlocks new dialogue options in future conversations. Nevi informs Tosh, some of my friends in Minrethus talk about not feeling comfortable in their own skin as a man or a woman. Let me tell y'all about not feeling comfortable in my own skin. As a child, we talked about this. I mentioned it before. If I didn't enjoy the story, I thought I was the fucking Incredible Hulk. I thought I was fucking Luke Skywalker till I found out that there were black men in Star Wars. I then became fucking Lando Calrissian. You see how that turned out? As an adult Hulk, I now speak to you. What the fuck? I'm going through my green transition therapy here in the next year or so. I'm gonna get my skin colored green. The fuck are we really doing out here? Identity crisis. And we've embraced this shit because we're bored here in America. Because we've got nothing better to do. Easy for me to say. Got nothing better to do. It's privilege. We've invented shit to be angry about. We've attached weird biological mental health issues onto diversity, which the women and the minorities had no problems with other than just continuing the fight. Now that shit's been pushed to the bottom because we got to worry about what color of the rainbow is going to creep in at our job and tell us what the fuck to do. The article continues. As noted above, none of this is surprising in the least. Back in 2022, the game director, a man claiming the identity of a woman with a name not given at birth, Corinne Bush, declared in a developer story on BioWare's website that Dragon Age as a franchise is inherently very queer. That's also the same thing they said about Star Wars. That's also the same thing that Kathleen Kennedy's bitch ass said about Star Wars. Yeah, I said it. Kathleen Kennedy is a bitch ass fake. And for diversity's sake, a diversity hire, y'all let that bitch creep up into Disney and fuck Star Wars all to hell. The Force is female. The Force is female. Your stock is also in the fucking trash, bitch. Bush said, as a queer trans woman, I have a perspective on games that not everyone has. Dragon Age has long been a place where the LGBTQIA123 Wi-Fi password folks can see people like themselves represented respectfully. What the fuck? It's inherently very queer, and it's such a rare thing for marginalized communities to have representation where we feel proud and powerful in how we are depicted. Your fucking imaginary Huayni or whatever the fuck? That's what you are? Because you interjected, you put bullshit from our reality into this fantasy. You injected that shit into the fantasy to create this queer projection onto these characters. That dialogue is not inherently a part of that world. You imagined that shit. He also added, it's so deeply meaningful for so many. I often get emotional when I talk about what it would have meant for younger version of me to see someone like her in a game. That's how I feel about Incredible Hulk games, to be honest. Every time I see a game where Incredible Hulk is not in the back of the scene because he's bigger and taller than it, but he's in the front of the scene, I feel more represented as 8-year-old baby culture. I feel more represented. Deeply, deeply. Furthermore, Bosch described himself in this profile on X as a queerosexual gender mancer with a supporter of Black Lives Matter. I wonder if they just stack up causes to see like it's like badges. It's like badges. They just be stacking up different causes. I'm a queerosexual gender mancer, LGBT, LGLMNOP, Black Lives Matter, Ukraine, Palestine, and Israel. You know what y'all do? Absolutely fucking horrific. I'm not going to continue with the rest of this article. I do suggest that if you are curious about what that park place is chitter-chatting about, you go check it out. There we go. Popped it in the chat for you and for your entertainment. I'm not going to continue with that bullshit, but it is very, very real. And here we go with a little bit more on wokeness in video games. What we got here now, popping back over to our boy Asmon. We're going to check him out. He happened to explore what was going on in Japan. And we got two things about Japan today we're going to talk about. One is from the gaming side of things. The other side is from the manga and anime side of things. From the gaming side, well, one of the oldest gaming developers had choice words about this woke agenda bullshit that's going on right now, and the Dragon Age game. And we'll pause maybe once or twice during this little short. It's only 2 minutes long. So we'll pause maybe once or twice as we go along here, but enjoy.
Do you remember when I talked about this with Dragon Quest and a lot of the people were mad at me? It was a conspiracy and I was inventing problems. Here's the guy that agrees with me. This is an interview at the 2024 Tokyo Game Show. Former editor in charge of Dragon Ball, and then also the Dragon Quest creator. There was a lot of buzz about the costumes. It became a topic of discussion.
All right, I'm going to pause right there for just a second so you guys can see. Asmon's face is hiding one of the characters, but the character on the left here, directly under Asmon, you can see where her little bikini strap is that goes down in front of her little taco. She's got, skin. There's a skin there. There's just flesh. Well, when you take a look on the right, which is the new remade character, they put boy shorts on her. And then you can see the top underneath her red armor guarding the hoo-has. They put on a tan body colored tanky shirt up underneath her hoo-ha protectors, because that's not proper. That's not proper. That's disgusting. That's your woke. Girls can't even be sexy girls in video games no more. So let's go back. Let's go. Asmon, show us.
Do you remember when I talked about this with Dragon Quest and a lot of the people were mad at me? It was a conspiracy and I was inventing problems. Here's the guy that agrees with me. This is an interview at the 2024 Tokyo Game Show. Former editor in charge of Dragon Ball, and then also the Dragon Quest creator. There was a lot of buzz about the costumes. It became a topic of discussion because they weren't exactly the same as they were back then.
As you might remember, Square Enix is doing a remake of Dragon Quest III, and some people were angry due to the very obvious censoring compared to the original game.
Yeah, big surprise. Yeah, the nerfs. What's wrong with it? Yeah. I don't really understand that either.
Exactly.
Man, that's crazy.
Exactly.
Never thought about that in the past. Yeah, true. Under the name of compliance. It's like an absolute god. And man, holy sh**.
That's exactly right. Diversity has become an absolute god. It has become a thing to worship. It has become a behavior that is manifesting in these people's spirits like a demon. Like a demon. They are going off and they are censoring the things that really aren't offending anybody, and they are introducing things to our children that are fucking absurd. That are fucking absurd. Women have worn bikinis since the beginning of fucking time. It's nothing new in fantasy games. Why are we now challenging this? Oh, because women are sexualized. Oh, but at the same time, in another game, we are forcing upon our kids chopping off the entire titty. So everybody's just going to be fucking transgender. Just everybody's just androgynous. Is that what we're looking at now? Everybody's androgynous. Dragon's Age, you cut off your tits. Dragons, what's this one? Dragon, whatever this one is, you put your clothes on to cover your tits. Anything to make anything that looks like a woman, not. Sounds like a mental health problem. Let's continue.
Shit, and evil disguised as good. There's no such thing as content that doesn't make everyone uncomfortable. I think he means like there's always going to be somebody who will get offended about something. Because beauty and ugliness, good and evil are different for everyone. There's a religious...
Yeah.
There's a religious concept from the West, especially in America, that influences their approach to sex education.
Yes. Yeah, that's great. I love hearing based Japanese perspectives, right? So it's like a whole religious perspective that is causing this malfunction in Americans' minds as far as this old man is concerned. And I agree with him. Sis, what's good? How you doing tonight? I see you out there. She said, what? Chop it off. What? Yeah, so at the beginning, we went back. And if you go back and you check out at the beginning, Asmund responded to, or excuse me, he was playing the game, but I highlighted other features in this game, Dragon Age, that just dropped. The fact that in your character creator, you can create, tattoos, scars, war paint. You can, scar shapes. Well, here at the bottom, you got a top surgery scars. And that doesn't have to do with getting mammograms in the video game. Actually, probably, if you were somebody who really needed to properly be represented through diversity, equity, and inclusion, it would be, the children born with little limbs that are crinkled up that they can't use due to cerebral palsy. They would be the children that can't use parts of their body and have to ride around in wheelchairs due to some other spinal disease. They would be the children who are disfigured because of the way that they just happen to be born a little bit different. No. We don't have any of that. We're mutating ourselves willingly and using surgeries and enhancements and privilege to mutilate, to poison with the pre-pube blockers and then mutilate ourselves. But now we can put it in video games for our children. Yeah, okay. So now we're in Japan, and they're sick and tired of the DEI shit too. The old-based awesome old grandpas are sick and tired of this shit because they were the ones that developed the cute little hot nurse in her little bikini that would come out and save your characters because everybody was dressed the same in the little fantasy world. It wasn't a big fucking deal. Right? So now he's looking at this shit and he's looking at the way that Americans are like, oh, no, you trying to redo Dragon Quest 3? We're going to look through every little piece of the game, and every little piece of the game, we're going to analyze, you got this chick over here. She's showing too much flesh. Well, this chick was involved with a dude. We don't like that no more. She's going to have to snuggle up to another woman. This dude over here, he too big and butch. He can't be big and butch. So we're going to make him black with a Killmonger hairdo, and he's gay. They're doing it in every fucking video game. They're doing it across the board, across all media. Less than 1%. Less than 1%. And we are just being inundated with it. It is absolutely grooming. And I have held back on being one to jump on that bandwagon, but I can see it in no other way. I'll be damned if I encourage my nephews or nieces to follow any of these media any type of media that contains any of this bullshit. And I suggest that you as parents, and I suggest that you as consumers, vote with your fucking wallets, right? We always complaining about what we got, what we don't got, what we got to spend our money on, what these people, what our kids want, what they don't want, what you want to provide for them. Vote with your wallet and get them shit that's better. Fuck this shit.
Right? Because there's a risk of lawsuits. The company also has to get insurance. Oh my god. Doing business with such a ridiculous country.
Yeah, I'm going to rewind this back because they have to also get business insurance now, right? This is something else. This is added cost. Everybody's hiding behind DEI. Again, DEI is nothing but EOE. It was for the women and it was for everybody else that's colored. Minorities. All of us, all right? Colored. Minorities. That's it. We have blanketed that shit, pushed it to the bottom, and we put the fucking rainbow on top of it. And now you have companies that if they don't fucking support this agenda, they have to go to a whole nother level for legal representation. Can't just make something off the top of your head that's a fucking video game. You got to have legal representation now because people feel some kind of way and are going to censor you. All right, I'm going to rewind this back just a tiny bit as this old dude starts cooking, and I'm going to let him cook. I'm going to shut up.
Absolute god. And man, holy shit, an evil disguised as good. There's no such thing as content that doesn't make everyone uncomfortable. I think he means like there's always going to be somebody who will get offended about something. Because beauty and ugliness, good and evil are different for everyone. There's a religious concept from the West, especially in America, that influences their approach to sex education, right? Because there's a risk of lawsuits. The company also has to get insurance. Oh my god. Doing business with such a ridiculous country is really frustrating. Yeah, I bet it is.
Yeah.
In Dragon Quest, you used to be able to... No way. Oh my god. In Dragon Quest...
In Dragon Quest, you used to be able to choose between a male and female character. Think about He-Man. Who's the male in He-Man? You got He-Man. Big He-Man, right? Weird haircut, but He-Man. Who's the female? She-Ra. So now you have the male and female character archetypes. That's very typical of fantasy, for those that don't know, in gaming. It's very typical. Very typical choices. Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man. No Transformer Pac-Man. Pac-Man, Miss Pac-Man. Go back and watch the Mr. Rogers piece at the intro. But now, you have to choose between, you can't have man and woman anymore. It's type A body or type B body. A big amorphous blobous body or a slender, smaller body. That's it. That is where we're going. Androgyny. No definition. No definition of sex, no definition of genders, of proper biological genders. None of that, because it makes everybody feel some kind of way. So we're going to censor it all. The funniest fucking thing about this election cycle is watching the libtard, far left retards just crash the fuck out. Get violent, get angry. And now all this bullshit extremist shit about sexuality. I'm not saying I voted for him, but all I am saying is I'm certainly glad that we have the administration we do at the moment and the decisions that they may or may not make regarding bullshit like this indoctrinating our children. Let's continue with Japan.
Quest, you used to be able to choose between a male and female main character, but now you can't choose between a man and a woman anymore. We have to label... Yep, there you go. Type 1 and 2. Yeah. I really wonder who's even complaining about this.
Right.
I've been wondering the same thing. The body types 1 and 2. The idea that we're going to take the distinction of male and female and we are going to replace it in order to appeal to 1% under the illusion of inclusivity by using vocabulary that no one uses and taking away the vocabulary. How does this make any fucking sense? It is so stupid. And I cannot express how much I appreciate these guys saying this. These are the creators. This guy made Dragon Quest.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree with Asmon. I agree with the old dudes, the OGs, 150%. In the same theme, we're going to wrap up the video gaming section here. Actually, let me show you something before we get to that. This is a character from a game called Nier Automata. In Nier, you play as multiple different characters depending on where you're at in the story. This character, this AI robot, she comes with 2 different names in the game, A2 or 2B. Depending on where you are in the game, you flip characters. That is her. She is considered by some a sex symbol. She's got sex appeal to her. The character is very soft-spoken, yet she's a battle droid. She handles her business. So there's a whole following around the character, right? And the story lore behind all this. What video game companies do is they cross collab with other video game companies. Sometimes you'll see characters go from one video game over to another. So the company that I forget what the main creator is that is behind Nier, they went and licensed their materials off to Ubisoft and told Ubisoft, who is a very woke company, by the way, Ubisoft is failing. Go look at their stock. Go look at their stock. The company is failing. So Ubisoft got the license for 2B. And this is what woke people do to a sexy model. One more time. This is A2, 2B. Very demure jawline. Small collarbones, shoulders, petite. This is what this is what Ubisoft did to her. This is what woke DEI did to her. This makes everybody feel included. We don't like this anymore. We're just going to bastardize what the original character was because this makes everyone feel better. Bitch got shoulders bigger than me. The fuck am I looking at right now? Yes, this is real. This is 100% real. This is a downloadable skins for CSGO or some shit. I don't know, whatever the fuck game it is. Same game that they've been making for the past 20 years. Y'all been playing a dumb shit. Now you get a masculine ass 2B behind it. Shit's disgusting. Shit's disgusting. Right. A whole damn linebacker, Knots. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Like 2B is... See, like I said, there's fandom. There's plenty of fandom built around her. You can buy figurines. You can buy figurines from almost any game. Plenty of fan art about her. All over the place. That's her. But no. This is what we're gonna do at Ubisoft. This is what we're making. All right. So let's listen to the Critical Drinker. If you do know who the Critical Drinker is, he also has a second channel called The Critical Gamer. Check him out if you haven't already. He talks mad shit. He don't give a fuck. Neither do I, as you know. So naturally, I'm a friend of his show. He's a friend of mine. Let's go.
You know, one of the best things about video games is that they allow us to transcend the petty limitations of the real world, creating fantastical landscapes that defy logic, terrifying monsters, awe-inspiring wonders, and iconic characters bound only by the limitations of the human imagination. It truly is the very purest form of creativity, unless of course you happen to be a Western game developer, in which case your escapist fantasy entertainment absolutely has to reflect the world we live in today.
So let's pause. I'm gonna pause right there for 1 second, right? I'm gonna let him cook. I promise you, I'm gonna let him cook. I'll shut up. I know that I get on y'all's nerves talking shit all the time. But look. There's a distinct difference. This is Japan. On your screen right now. That is a Japanese game. That is what their Japanese girls look like in their games. Let's look at an American woman. I'm gonna here. I'll help you. All right, let's go. Let's listen to this man cook.
In today, the world we live in today, the world we live in today, the world we live in today. You've probably noticed that there's been a bit of a shift in the portrayal of video game characters in recent years, particularly the female ones. A process that probably has a far more technical name, but which a simple man like myself can best describe as uglification. It's like gaming is somehow de-evolving even as technology and production costs rise to astronomical levels, producing characters that look less human and more physically repulsive with each new release.
A ruined and terrible form of life.
I mean, Jesus, look at the state of it. I don't
Facts.
think anyone wants to go on an adventure with this girl. A quick glance at your average AAA development page is like taking a walk down your average high street in Scotland. The faces you see vaguely correspond to your understanding of what human beings look like, but the features, proportions, and arrangements are so far off that you're left with a disturbingly intense urge to get out of there as quickly as possible and never look back. And it's interesting to note that this phenomenon seems to be confined to one half of the population only. Almost
Absolutely.
like it's intentional or something. The problem seems to have been bubbling away for a while now, but like an explosive diuretic fart, it could only be held back for so long before it made its violent entry into the world, destroying a pair of your best Calvin Kleins in the process. And the explosive release finally came with the advent of the Sweet Baby debacle, which has shed light on a lot of things that Western game developers probably would have rather kept secret. But there it is, all the same, and now that it's out there, it's fair game for people like me to comment on. So just like on my main channel, where I talked about the problems blighting modern Hollywood movies, I figured I'd make a video series here about why modern gaming sucks. And truly, where better to start with any good book than the cover? Part 1. Everyone's fucking ugly. Now, rather than just point and laugh at how ugly
Facts.
characters have become in recent years, let's see if we can break this one down scientifically. And that being the case, the first major problem seems to be a general rejection of femininity and female beauty in modern game development. A perfect example of this is the character model for MJ in the two Spider-Man games. It's the same character in the same game series made by the same dev studio, but with a radically different appearance in each one. In the
Facts.
first game, you can quite clearly see the facial model has all the traits commonly associated with traditional femininity. Rounded facial structure, full lips, large eyes and a small nose. Now compare it to MJ in the second game, and well, I think you can spot the differences.
Right.
This version has a large prominent chin, a wider and stronger jawline, thinner lips, heavier eyebrows, and eyes that are proportionally smaller because the rest of her face is now bigger. In short, she's got a far more masculine appearance than before. Interesting. Or how about Aloy from the Horizon games, a series that I actually quite enjoy. You can see in the image on the left how she looked in the original game. Not hyper-feminine by any stretch, because she's trying to survive in a primitive post-apocalyptic world where cosmetics aren't exactly easy to come by, but still she's recognisably female with the softer facial structure typically associated with women. The image on the right, on the other hand, is so masculine that if you were to give her some facial hair, you'd basically be left with a man. And a handsome man at that. Same deal with the main character from Star Wars Outlaws.
Facts.
A prominent chin that would make even Sergeant Slaughter jealous, a wide, strong jawline, thin lips and small eyes. Jesus, it's like these characters all rolled off the same bland assembly line. It's even more perplexing when you see...
Look at this. Y'all, look at that. Look at that. How? How is that the same woman? How? She's fucking gorgeous. I'm trying to holler. I'm trying to holler. How? Y'all seeing what I'm seeing? Janesta, what's up, sis? How are you? How are you? Glad you're here with us tonight. I don't understand what they've been doing in these games. What are they doing? Why are they uglifying? Does it make everybody feel better? I would much rather play a game with the woman on the right. I'd be playing that video game all night long. How the fuck do I look like?
See what her actress looks like. I could go on and on with this stuff all day, but you get the basic idea. The real question though is, why? Why are Western developers so against the idea of femininity and female beauty in games? I mean, if I was a cynical man, I might suggest that most game studios are infested with jealous, physically repulsive land whales who can't stand to be reminded that they've broken more mirrors than Conan the Barbarian. But let's go a little bit deeper than that. It's definitely not a technology problem, that's for sure. Games have been capable of rendering accurate facial scans of real actors for decades at this point.
Yep.
I mean, look at Julia Voth from the Resident Evil remake.
Look at that. Like, that's good. Like, she looks good. She always has. They haven't played around. Japan does not play around. Japan ain't fucking with this dumb woke shit.
That game's more than 20 years old now, and the resemblance is uncanny. Or Ellen Page in Beyond Two Souls, which came out in 2013. Or Hayden Panettiere from Until Dawn from 2015. Or Keanu Reeves from Cyberpunk.
Look at your boy Keanu in Cyberpunk. But you're telling me that them other scans of them other women in the mainstream games that were consulted by the woke company, the woke DEI consultation company, all came out looking ugly.
Punk. And as for today, well, all you need to do is take a look at games like Final Fantasy Rebirth or Stellar Blade to see that we're more than capable of rendering beautiful characters on screen. No, the issue here is a creative one. But why exactly? Well, there seems to be this weird assumption that gamers can or won't take a female character seriously if they find them physically attractive, so the only solution is to reduce or remove any element of attractiveness and sensuality, producing bland, ugly, unappealing models that nobody wants to look at. For me, this is a deeply flawed premise on two levels. One, because characters like Lara Croft, Ada Wong, Jill Valentine, Tifa Lockhart and Aerith Gainsborough are all conventionally beautiful, but they've all stood the test of time as well because they were more than just their physical appearance. They were all genuinely interesting characters that people liked and identified with. Their beauty didn't undermine that, it enhanced it.
Absolutely.
The second reason is, well, down to simple human nature. We as people generally prefer to look at physically attractive individuals. We instinctively seek out beauty, we're drawn to it, and we enjoy being around it. Why do you think so many Hollywood actors or models or pop stars are conventionally good looking? It's the same reason we don't go to art galleries to look at children's finger paintings. We want to experience something higher and better.
It's the same reason why Lizzo got bullied into being skinny.
something aspirational. I know that's a tough pill to swallow, but there it is. The truth of the matter is that nobody enjoys looking at ugly people. Yeah, we know that most of us don't look like Chris Hemsworth or Sydney Sweeney, and that's okay. We know we'll never have a body like Chris Redfield or Lara Croft, and that's okay too.
It's okay.
Why? Because we're not narcissistic idiots who need to see ourselves reflected in everything that we see.
I am. I look just like Chris. Look at this. What y'all thought? Looking like Chris Redfield.
And do, or have all our hang-ups and insecurities validated by pulling everyone down to our level. Believe it or not, human beings are a lot more mature and resilient than that. The other thing that strikes me is that a lot of the shitty modern tropes from Hollywood are starting to spill over into the video game industry, particularly when it comes to blurring the lines between men and women. Male characters in movies and TV shows today are often depicted as neurotic, insecure, emotionally fragile, cowardly, verbose and self-deprecating, generally lacking in agency or the ability to assert themselves in any particular situation. Women, on the other hand, are now written to be stoic, confident, assertive, arrogant and aggressive, which are the same exact traits that were once considered toxic in men. They're basically trying to turn them into men, or at least a warped parody of what they think masculine behavior is, and I think that mentality is bleeding into gaming now as well.
Yes, exactly.
Characters are being redesigned to look more and more like men, because game studios incorrectly associate masculinity with strength and femininity with weakness, rather than seeing both as just being different paths to the same destination. They desperately want to create tough, independent, empowered women, because let's face it, that's pretty much the only kind of characters they're allowed to write now, and because they lack the skill and imagination to construct
Y'all, that's a whole fucking woman in Last of Us Part 2. That's a whole fucking woman in a video game. Look at her arms. They drew her arms bigger than a man's arms. That is a whole fucking woke. It's all this woke shit, y'all. I need more coffee.
Interesting characters with actual feminine characteristics. Their only solution is to churn out women who look, talk, and act like the toxic men they despise so much. It's actually kind of funny when you think about it. Their own flawed worldview created a problem that they can only solve by replicating the same exact problem that they created in the first place. Son of a bitch! Fucking genius. And the thing is, who is any of this supposed to appeal to? Men certainly don't like it, because seeing their favourite characters turned into the Giga Chad meme to score social media points and court an audience that doesn't exist is irritating and depressing. Women don't seem to care much for it either, because I'm willing to bet that not many of them aspire to look like this. Or this,
right,
or this. Female gamers aren't going to feel sad and excluded just because they've seen Ada Wong killing monsters while executing a perfect backflip in a ball gown. Instead, they're going to see a cool, awesome, beautiful woman kicking ass and doing awesome things.
I look at Ada Wong and I see a lot of things, personally. I mean, I see a very strong woman doing awesome things. I think I'd like to date a woman who can wear high heels and do backflips. What's that like? Gentlemen, chime in the comments. Let me know what that's like. Dating a woman who wears high heels and can do backflips. Let's go.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. That's the whole point of playing video games, in fact. They're not supposed to reflect the real world with all its tedious, mundane problems and restrictions. They're supposed to represent something higher, something better, something more fun. They're supposed to represent what we aspire to be,
right?
What we're stuck with in our day-to-day lives.
Right.
The more you try to fuck with that, the more you lose sight of the very purpose of your industry.
And the more you fuck with that, the more your industry fails, because we're not going to buy your shit.
And well, the more your customers are going to abandon you in favor of something better. Why do you think the Stellar Blade demo made such an impact? It's because the developers were smart enough to give their customers exactly what they want. A kick-ass beautiful woman in a skin-tight bodysuit. And in turn, gamers saw it as a giant fuck you to all the prissy, sanctimonious, fun-killing developers that are slowly strangling Western gaming. And if there's one thing that gamers love doing most of all, it's saying fuck you to people who try to control and lecture them. And for now at least, Eastern developers still seem to understand that fact. That's the great thing about the free market, you see. The customers can always go elsewhere, and if you don't change course pretty soon, you might just find that out to your costs. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Yeah, we'll be playing Final Fantasy. I love it. We'll be playing some Final Fantasy. Get some Aerith and
Costs.
FIFA going on.
Anyway, that's all I've got for today. Go away now.
Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. All right, let me control myself. All right, so we talking about Japan, right? Japan. Okay, so we got a little bit about the Japanese games, and we did the comparison. I've talked about that before. I talked about Stellar Blade before on my gaming DEI previous streams, right? So now we're going to go and we're going to talk about how censorship and DEI is impacting Japanese culture, their culture. Like, I understand that things shift and cultures evolve. American culture doesn't, obviously, but the cultures evolve and things shift, and that humans, it's required that humans adapt and that we grow. So things happen. Wars, fires, floods, we adapt, we grow. We come out of those situations. So, but when you are fucking with somebody's root culture, you got problems on your hands. I don't know how Japan's going to handle this, but let's just get into it here and let's just see. Let's explore this together, y'all, because there's going to be updates on this, I'm sure, as we go along. It is wide reaching. It even goes into the financial side of the global finance. So let's go. If I could push the play button.
Japan is being forced to censor manga and anime? It's time for the latest news. Out of
Titties. Let's go back. Titties. Japanese.
anime? It's time for the latest
I love it.
news. Out of Japan. If you were to ask a dedicated fan of anime and manga, what is a word worse than death? They'd give you a quick and simple answer. Censorship. Adult
Yep.
content is a huge part of Japanese entertainment culture, especially when it comes down to drawn or animated media like anime and manga. Whether it comes in the form of extreme violence, mild and comedic displays of nudity, or full-blown R-rated scenery, adult content is something that's naturally ingrained into Japanese media. But unfortunately, not every country which anime and manga are distributed to supports these spicy additions. And as such, there have been several cases where anime and manga have been censored to suit the ideologies of several countries. For example, the Mitsuri bat scene in Demon Slayer, where her bare back and chest were shown, was censored.
Ooh. That's my girl. She hot. With her little pink hair. Oh, they put a towel on her. He's on the left-hand side. When she's in the bath, they put a towel on her.
In the Chinese version, as she was seen wearing a towel in that scene. Fans didn't pay much mind to it and instead found some of these cases funny, such as when the Malaysian version of Attack on Titan had the Titans, which were normally bare-skinned, wearing tight pants. Little did they know that things would eventually blow up in an aggravating way. During the final days of October, the United Nations pitched the idea of censoring or even banning anime and manga based on the idea that these forms of media were promoting gender stereotypes and violence towards women and children. Many fans voiced their discomfort with that development, claiming it was wrong on so many different levels. But things still took a turn for the worse because recently it was discovered that Western credit card companies such as Visa and MasterCard are now dissociating themselves from anime and manga sites in an attempt to force them to censor their content. Ken Akamatsu, the creator of Love Hina, was unfortunately a victim of this, as his manga site Manga Z was forced to shut down due to these credit card companies pulling away. In his official statement on Twitter, he said, "The website Manga Library Z, formerly known as J. Comey, which I founded 14 years ago, had decided to cease operations on November 26th. Although I have already stepped down from management, I'm writing this announcement on behalf of the team." About Manga Library Z. Manga Library Z is an ad-supported platform that provides out-of-print manga as free digital content, generating ad revenue to compensate creators. Server and operational costs were mainly covered by fees from premium members. Reasons for the shut.
So if you're a premium member, y'all know how this works. Memberships. So if they shut down the credit cards from the reoccurring payment, monthly, weekly, whatever the membership is, they shut down the credit card processing. He's not getting anything. He's not getting anything. And y'all know how it works.
Down. The immediate cause of the suspension is that our payment processor has notified us that they are terminating all payment services beyond credit card payments, which includes other methods. Suddenly, all credit card providers, including JCB, became unusable, and other payment options, except for BitCash, were also rendered non-functional. On top of that,
All right, now I'm going to back up for just 1 second here. Sorry for interrupting y'all. I got it. Perfect. Payment methods except BitCash were also unusable. Payment methods except for BitCash. This is a perfect opportunity for coins to take off and for Bitcoin or equivalents to start to become common currency for online transactions like this. Now's the time. Now's the time to decentralize the money.
were also rendered non-functional. On top of that, even payments for past months were withheld, so we were unable to cover server costs due to the lack of incoming premium member fees. After careful consideration, the Manga Library Z team determined that running the site solely on BitCash revenue was unsustainable. Even if a new payment processor was found, similar issues could arise again, and selectively removing content to stay operational was undesirable. Thus, we reached the decision to suspend the site. We apologize for the suddenness of the situation and for yielding to the control of the payment provider, which left us with little time to respond. However, through this experience, we have gained insights on the grounds for declaring payment service suspensions, the severity and duration of associated penalties, and potential countermeasures. In the past, for example, Love Hina was banned and later reinstated in Apple's ebook app, a situation that became a valuable case in protecting freedom of expression. We continue to refer to these kinds of special cases in discussions about protecting free expression. Recently, stricter conditions and penalties have emerged from payment service providers, posing a growing threat to not only ebooks but to the Japanese content industry as a whole. We intend to develop more accurate countermeasures as a platform that has been directly affected. We appreciate your support in this endeavor. So, there's a lot to unpack in this message.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there.
But the
This is let me let him cook.
main point is that his manga site is being forced to shut down based on their inability to make money. And the cause of that is, of course, the fact that the Western credit card companies they were aligned with chose to step away from them.
All right. Pause right there. Time out. The Western credit card companies, MasterCard, Visa, American Express, etc., right? They decided that they did not want to be associated with this Japanese website because of the content that was available on that website. So the problem with that is you're telling me that on the Japanese website, the hand-drawn manga and anime hand-drawn drawings, pictures were way worse than accepting credit cards on OnlyFans. Your 18-year-old daughter is twerking for me. I can swipe my credit card and see her tonsils from the back. And that's okay to swipe my credit card and see, but I can't see a drawing, a pen and a piece of paper, and ink and paper. That is considered disgusting material. I have a problem with that. Same way I have a problem with people supporting ABs, but then you're not going to support convicted, accused, locked up, 100% guilty criminals, deleting them, but you want to delete the babies. I see there's this human logic, this cycle of logic. I can guarantee you that some of the assholes that are at the top of these credit card companies, daddy's little girl is out here twerking for the rest of us on OnlyFans. Bank executives, all those VP, vice president this, vice president that, vice president this. I'm calling y'all out, bitches. I'm calling y'all bastard asses out. Daddy and mommy's little whore is on OnlyFans, and I can swipe my credit card for that with no problem. But I can't buy a fucking anime magazine. Make that make sense.
This is a very terrible situation, and anime fans are absolutely furious about this incident. A fan said, "Bad take from US-based card companies. Trying to force an entire country to censor a major part of their cultural identity will just force Japan."
Censor your whole ass, whore ass daughters. How about that? How about that? Build better bitches.
And to seek a possible home-sourced card company, which will lead to
I can look at any whore's tonsils from the back all over OnlyFans with my credit card. But for some reason, y'all are going after Japanese anime. Prove to me that the 18-year-old bitches on OnlyFans are 18. OnlyFans. I'm talking to you, the company OnlyFans. Prove to me that the bitches on your site that say they're 18 are actually 18 and ain't using false documentation. Prove to me. Y'all got so much bullshit. See, this is these layers of bullshit that we as a society are willing to accept and just be a sheep to.
sites to utilize them as well to avoid censorship. What's worse is that the censorship they're trying to influence into effect isn't the normal one we're familiar with, where only the versions of anime and manga for specific countries are altered. What these people want is for these products to be censored right at the source, meaning even the original versions of anime and manga being distributed in Japan would be heavily censored. This is a huge slap in the face, not only to the whole freedom of expression privilege for creators, but also Japanese culture in general. These card companies have done this before.
Hey, yo, of any one of the cultures to explore like oddities in humanity and the weird shit and like the LGBT shit and blah, 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 Japan has always been a supporter of that weird shit. They've always been a supporter of that weird shit. They have all kinds of things that they have words made up for weird little shit like that within their culture. Like it's just a Japanese thing. It's like, it's a thing. So what's absolutely funny is that they're flipping this on its head to tell this country how to change everything about their culture in the spirit of DEI, censorship, and making the West feel good. By the way, Asian countries, as you just saw, keep it so real, they're making money hand over fist over these BlackRock associated bullshit Western companies that just want to throw fucking rainbows in your fucking face. Japan ain't falling for it. Why do you think we just seen it? Why do you think we have games like Stellar Blade? Why do you think there's always some cleavage and shit coming out? Because that's what we want. We don't want these ugly, weird looking bitches. We don't want these Mary Janes with these square jaws. We don't want these, where's that shit at? We don't want these box built butch looking bitches. What the fuck did y'all do to 2B? What the fuck? The fuck did you do? What did you do to her? Nobody wants that shit.
With platforms like Pixiv and DL sites, removing themselves from those sites until certain content which they deem is inappropriate is removed. Some fans are even trying to make light of the situation by claiming that the world is now similar to Shimoneta.
Shimoneta is an anime and it's great. So what's happened is the world has flipped on its head and everything that's indecent has been put away. So if you're trading anime where a girl's got her tits out, or you're trading hardcore porn or whatever, there's detectors around the world, and basically cops just drop out of the ceiling and come down and parachutes and whatever and hold you down and kick your head in and then arrest you for possessing indecent material. And there's a group of kids that go around and throw dirty underwear on everybody's heads and try to infect everybody with dirty material. With pornographic baseball cards and shit. It's hilarious.
An anime world where all forms of adult things were banned. Credit card companies actually hold a lot of power because they monopolize the use of online and card-based transactions. So basically, if you wish to make a payment to any sites, including anime and manga sites, it most often has to go through them, which is why a situation like this, where they pull away from a company, would mean that the company has no way of making any money. And thus, the company is forced to shut down, all based on an unfair imposition of Western ideologies on Japanese media. Some
Right.
fans are going as far as saying that Japan should stop distributing anime and manga to the West entirely, since they're the ones always pushing for censorship. Japan needs to give a big middle finger to the West and completely disconnect from it. These were the words of a fan who was rightfully annoyed by the situation. Some are
Absolutely.
calling out influential figures like Elon Musk to do something about the situation, given the fact that he openly admitted to being a huge fan of anime and gaming. Fans think that Musk will eventually start his own card companies and payment platforms that would eventually crush the ones currently monopolizing the business. Some others feel that crypto should become the premier means of payments, putting the current card companies
Yeah, see, I just mentioned that as well. Crypto is definitely a way to go.
out of business, and they believe the outcome of the recently concluded US elections could make that dream a reality. Interestingly, apparently, Brazil used a system called Pix that bypasses cards and bank limitations. If more countries copied this method, those payment processing holders would have zero power across the globe and will be forced to compete with quality of service instead. Well, these proposed solutions do seem appealing, but it would take a lot of different things to come into place for them to actually work out. Taking notice of this, fans have decided to focus on looking for ways to fight back and punish the card companies directly. Many have suggested starting a war with America or
Oh my God.
orchestrating a cyber attack against these card companies. This is why I want the entire Western entertainment industry gone, wiped clean from the world. Were the words of a fan who needs to be convinced that the Western entertainment industry is no sandcastle that could easily be kicked down. This is maybe
I mean, granted, I've already got my ire with Hollywood, and we're not talking so much about Hollywood tonight. We're talking about the video games and other entertainment. But but yeah, hell yeah, it's all through entertainment as a whole. It's all through entertainment as a whole. The wokeism, this bullshit, this messaging, this grooming shit. It's all through everything.
a little extreme. Many believe that the best course of action would be to avoid buying from them entirely, and so many fans have resolved to only using pirate sites for their anime and manga, instead of paying through these companies.
Pirating's not funny.
Depending on how things play out, this incident could cause a ripple that would affect Japanese culture and how anime is created. For now, we can only hope things go in favor of Japan and the rest of the anime manga fandom. In other news, Vinland Saga is ending soon?
All right. Shout out to Out of Japan. If you are a follower of anime and all things entertainment of the sort from the East, subscribe. All right. Now, before we get to the main event, we're going to take an intermission. So give me 1 second, y'all. I'm out of coffee. I've been struggling with this little wash at the bottom of my cup. I'm not going to grab another coffee. I'm going to grab some water, grab a water bottle. Give me 1 second. Hydrate, get you a snack. We're going to be right back. All right. Short intermission. Hope you are hydrated. All right, we're back. Right, y'all. So, time for the main event. First things first, we're going to take a look at this. I think we all have been witness and have been here sidelines watching Jaguar crash out. So what we about to do? Hey, what's up, Cuzzo? How are you? How are you this evening? Hope you are off work, chilling at home. If you are working, put in that good work, cuz. Put in that good work. Make that money. Get that bag. But yes, we've all been here on the sidelines watching Jaguar crash out, watching what's going on in the public eye. If you haven't seen the full commercial, we're going to watch that together now. Fair use, of course. Then we're going to go into a react by another content creator that I do watch on a regular basis. So let's go, y'all. It's a short commercial, 30 seconds. So let's grin and bear it. All right. So that is the Jaguar commercial. Absolutely nothing to do with cars. Looks like a United Colors of Benetton ad. This is not a commentary or any kind of shade to the models. They did their damn thing. The models be modeling. I got nothing to say bad about them at all. Make that bag, y'all. Get that bag. But the problem here is that the producer, whoever designed this, has put undue heat on them. I suggest that if you are, putting pressure on these models and got your foot on their neck, don't do that. Don't do that. They ain't asked for this bullshit. Whoever put this concept together is who we need to blame. And we're going to go a little bit into that because this is some bullshit. It has nothing at all to do with the legacy, the history. And I get it. There's this whole tear down history and rebuild something new, but you're not building anything. None of you are. None of you shit talkers talking about destroy the Patriot, destroy this, destroy that, tear down. What's your fucking plan for the next move? You can't get right what the fuck you're doing in your life right now. I get it. You want to stand on your little social justice warrior box. All right, here we go. Let's take a look here and see what ARC Driver's got to say about the demise of Jaguar. Fair use.
Imagine if on April 14th, 1912, a group of people contacted the captain of the Titanic an hour before they hit the iceberg and told him to change course. But the captain only responded by accusing those people of being vile, hateful, and intolerant.
Absolutely.
Sir, we've just received a warning from our customers telling us that if we don't change course, we're going to sink the entire ship and take everyone with us. Well, then, you can send our customers this message. You are all vile, hateful, and intolerant. Sincerely, Raw Dong Lover. Oh, that reminds me. Call the kitchen, have them send up 2 more orders of raw dongs. 2 more orders of raw dongs for the captain.
Okay, the inside joke here, the raw dong joke. Rodon Glover, or something of the sort, is the name of the CEO who's currently in charge of Jaguar. Raw dong lover. I'll let that sink in.
Post haste, your raw dongs, sir.
But things weren't always like this at Jaguar.
They say Brits play the best villains.
Let's go.
But what makes a great
The
villain?
good commercials. The good commercials.
Firstly, you need to sound distinct. Speak with an eloquence that lets everyone know who's in charge. Gentlemen.
Hell yeah.
Excellent.
Hell yeah.
Our villain should have style. The suit should always be bespoke, razor sharp, like your wit. It's important that a villain has the means to stay one step ahead. World domination starts with attention to detail. Take this tiny switch, for example. It changes everything.
If you're new to my channel, I publish original automotive content. So if you're not subscribed yet, click below to subscribe. And be sure to click on
Go subscribe to Arc Driver, and we'll throw him some flowers here once we're done.
the notification bell so you can be notified about my latest videos. For decades, the Jaguar brand has been associated with style, sophistication, charisma, class, intelligence, and masculinity. But after Jaguar ran the most hated ad campaign in history, the majority of the world now associates Jaguar with this.
I'm done. Hell yeah. Hell yeah, y'all. Hell yeah. That's crazy.
And at the reveal event for the Jaguar Type 00 concept, Jaguar's Chief Creative Officer, Jerry McGovern, stopped short of criticizing Jaguar's customers, but he did make some pretty heartbreaking statements, such as, "Don't be held back by the past." Jaguar has one of the most illustrious histories of any automotive company that's ever existed.
Absolutely.
Full of beautiful cars and monumental racing victories. And now, Jaguar is telling us that instead of building upon this wonderful history, they're just going to flush it all down the toilet. He also said that he doesn't believe in concepts unless they become a reality, which makes it very clear that Jaguar's upcoming cars will look nearly identical to the Type 00 concept. This was also a bit of a downer because a lot of people thought that the Type 00 was just for attention and that the actual production cars would be much better looking.
Right. And so usually what you'll see at auto shows, you'll see concept cars. If you're not already familiar with how the auto shows work and how the manufacturers work on their designs, they basically have their design studios or students or contracted designers come in and help them kind of gain a artistic impression of the direction the company's going to go in. And that's basically all it is, an artistic impression of the direction the company's going to go in. A company may decide if they make trucks, they want to go sleek and economical, and they want the trucks to have everything embedded where you don't see any of the toolboxes and stuff, and they want them to be very, very streamlined, or they want the trucks to be big and beefy, and they want them to look like gigantic big beef tires, big off-road tires, and they want them to look like they're going on safaris, and they've got the big rails on the side with the extra packs and the extra jerry packs and jerry cans and everything. So it's all based on the imagination of the direction the company wants to go in. Okay. Then they have these designers come in and they put the pen to paper. They do these things where they have these gigantic pieces of clay and they'll shape the piece of clay, or they'll use 3D rendering nowadays. They'll use rendering on computers. Computer aided design is huge, of course. So that's basically it. There are concepts, imaginary concepts, they're thinking of going in this direction, but they want it to look like this. So if you go and you just Google Chevrolet concept or Honda concepts or any company, Mercedes-Benz concept, you'll find hundreds of different styles of vehicles that never, ever hit the assembly line. So that's my 2 cents, just offering a little education for y'all.
Jerry McGovern also stated that Jaguar has no desire to be loved by everybody. But I'm pretty sure when Jaguar was designing cars like the XK120, the very idea was that the car would be so beautiful that everyone would love it. And universally appreciated objects like this make the world a better place. But when you intentionally create things that you know people won't like, what does that say about your company? And judging from the response of the Type 00 reveal, nobody will ever love this car.
Yeah, look at that. YouTube site, YouTube after YouTube content creator.
The car you drive tells the world.
Content creator after content creator after content creator, including myself now. Just hating on this. It's horrible. It's Jaguar piss. Not Jaguar. It's Jaguar piss.
The car you drive tells the world a lot about you. And because of Jaguar's latest, shall we say, reassociation campaign, their customers are abandoning the brand faster than you can say diversity, equity, and inclusion.
Watch this, y'all.
This thing's been in my family for at least 10 years, and I'm sick of it. Oh, yeah. Oh. I don't want people to think that I'm limp wrist like Tampon Tim. Don't want people thinking nothing when they see me driving around in this. I'd much rather drive around a Tesla. If people see me driving around in this, it's over. It's over. I don't know what people are gonna think.
Here's the real problem.
That was still a beautiful car. Oh man, this shit's breaking my heart, y'all. I'm a car guy. I like cars, y'all. I got multiple hobbies. This shit is breaking my heart.
I have a 1984
Hey, but shit happens. This is what happens. When they go woke, this is what happens.
Jaguar Vanderpla that is being redone, and it's just about ready to go. And quite frankly, given the Jag ad, I'm not sure I really want to drive the car, let alone keep the car.
The Jag trying to show me that, hey, he ain't trying to be sold. So, you know, I got a new car. Everybody was asking what kind of car did I get. So you see, even though I'm in the Jag, got the for sale signs.
And this is probably a smart move, because whether they mean to or not, Jaguar is forcing the values of their cars down.
Poor dude.
Judging from their leadership,
that was funny.
Tone-deaf response to their customers, they have no intention of changing course, and it will only be a matter of time before the
Porsche, Lamborghini, Maserati, Rolls Royce, everybody's going to capitalize on this, and Volvo already has.
Average Jaguar.
Volvo did like this whole family first promotion, and like it was all sensitive and tender. I should have pulled it up for y'all, but we ain't gonna do all that tonight. At any rate, yeah, Volvo fired shots across the bow of Jag.
Jaguar loses 80% of its value if it hasn't already.
There's been a big drop in prices lately with the E-types and all that stuff, to where even the old stuff, people don't care about it anymore.
But the one thing that makes me so sad about this whole debacle is this. Jaguar has amongst the richest racing history of any automotive company.
Absolutely.
And they have created such a historical lineup of timeless cars. But I've got a saying, association is a bitch. And now, when I look at these graceful and beautiful machines, all I can think of is this.
Vroom, vroom, honk, honk, drive along.
And when you look at the main theme of Jaguar's new direction, It's clear that Jaguar wants nothing to do with their incredible history, and that chapter has been permanently closed. And even though it's beyond evident that next to nobody will be purchasing their latest cars, Jaguar's new leadership insists on sinking the entire ship. Maybe one day, years from now, Jaguar will once again be purchased by another company who will revive the brand back to its former glory. But until then, all we can do is laugh or cry. Thanks for checking out this video, and for more automotive content that you cannot find anywhere else, click here to subscribe.
It is so sad, y'all. That music was very epic. It touched me in my fifis. I want to say thank you to Arc Driver. That touched me in my fifis, bro. Go check out Arc Driver, y'all. Go check him out. He's got some really, really good stuff. Again, he's one of the dozens, he's got shorts too, dozens of content creators that I follow on the automotive side of shit. So definitely go check him out. Again, applause for that. It was a good roundup of where we are with the Jaguar story. I could show you plenty more. I can show you from the press conference, but you know what? We're not going to do all that tonight. I think I've hit the nail on the head pretty much as far as where we're going and how this whole entire extremist ideology behind this DEI movement is just gone awry. All right. Lastly, I've got what is a 30-second old school Jaguar commercial. I want to round up and I want to finish up with this, right? So I want to say thank you to everybody that was here tonight. Cuzzo. I had like 2-3 cousins. I had 2-3 sisters out here. I had Killa. I had Kings. I had Sister Janesta. I had Almond Eyes. If you were in the crowd and I did not mention you, let's see who else. There was somebody else snuck in here. That's right. Knots, Frankie. Thought I saw somebody else. Okay. All right. I think that's everybody that I did catch. I want to say thank you to all of y'all for joining me tonight, listening to me punch clouds and listening to me crash out over the crash outs. But, you know, more than anything, y'all, the message here is the extremism. That's got to be, we've got to quell that. We've got to quell the extremism. We've got to bring people back to reality on these things. We are investing money in all of these efforts based around this mental health issue instead of actually addressing mental health issues. I stand on that. Ever since the Reagan era, we have pushed the mental health issue to the wayside, and it is not helping society as a whole here in these United States. We see it with the criminal acts. We see it with these bullshit delusions about gender. The inmates are running the asylum. The inmates are running the asylum, and they've gained the interest of large scale special interest groups. So you have the DEI program ran by ESG, ran by investors. They're now changing the name of it, and it's manifesting itself into a hydra with multiple different heads. It's getting big, y'all. It's getting big. I'm going to stay here, stay tuned into me, like, subscribe, and ring that bell. And you will definitely get more information and entertainment about this DEI manifest that it's turning into, this thing that it's manifesting into. So, all right, last thing I'm going to leave y'all with here is a commercial from way back in the day. Jaguar, let's enjoy this together, and then peace to everybody.
Open. Just slip a sable under the tree for me. It's great, right?
Bonk.
Honey?
Sometimes the best part of giving is the thank you you'll be receiving. Lease an X-Type 3.0 for $399 a month at Lee Peterson Motors.
Back in 2005, y'all. I was watching that commercial, like, loving it, just loving the beauty of these cars, y'all. Anyway, you see where it's going. Let's hope we can stop the destruction of anything else that is sacred. Let's hope that we can leave legacies behind that are worthy for the future. And protect your children. Protect your children. I'm going to leave you at that. Peace to everybody that's out there. Big up yourselves. Stay healthy, stay happy, enjoy life. Peace.
Nancy feels that a newspaper, any newspaper, has the obligation to deliberately deal with those things which demand public attention. How do you feel about the controversy?
Basically, the fan behaves the same on Joe's suit. When I first turned the power on, or just prior to that, he's drawing 0.6 amps. It goes off scale high for a few seconds, falls back down to about...
The CBS Evening News with Walter Sanders.
Well, first I jumped to 9.
It was a provoking challenge, and nowhere did the challenge provoke more
Averaging a peak to peak, I'd say of about 0.1 amp.
To develop and introduce America's first all-electronic television system.
Motor